Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This Shabbos, we read the Torah portion of Terumah. In this Torah portion of Terumah, we get our purpose of being, our reason for being here, and that is V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'socham. You shall make me a dwelling place, and I will dwell down here. While the giving of the Torah was here to bridge heaven and earth, bring heaven down to earth, that we read in Parshat Yisro, because prior to that there was a decree that the heavens were for God and the earth was for people. Nevertheless, that synthesis, while it happens through every single thing that we do, by putting on tefillin, we transform the leather. By praying from a prayer book, we transform the paper that's in that prayer book. By eating something and make a blessing, we transform that thing we're eating. Nevertheless, the actual home for Hashem, a creation of a home for Hashem, even though the whole world, the whole universe is a home for God, but God also wanted a physical manifestation of a home, and that was the dwelling place, the tabernacle that God gives us in this week's Torah portion. Ultimately, that becomes the place of the future home of the Beit HaMikdash, of the Holy Temple, in which we go to pray at the Western Wall, and has become the symbol of godliness in this world. In Jerusalem, even though, again, you can pray all over the world, you don't have to pray in a shul. When you come to a shul, that is more of a mikdash ma'at. That is a small mikdash. When you go to the Western Wall, you even feel even more, because you're by the actual place of the Holy Temple. But ultimately, God tells us something very interesting. That you shall make me a dwelling place, and I will dwell in them. I will dwell in it, and I will dwell in betocham, meaning in them, in you. I will dwell in you, because we have to make for God a dwelling place for Hashem down here. And this is really our entire purpose of why God created us, why God created this world. Ultimately, the reason why God needed the world is what God has everything. So what do you need us? And the reality is God's wanted us to create a dwelling place for Hashem down here. And how do we do that? By doing goodness and kindness, by creating spaces for Hashem. That is how we make this world a better place for God. We go into our home and we have a mezuzah in our home, and we have a siddur in our home, and we have prayer books in our home, and we have tefillin in our home. We come to the synagogue, we create a dwelling place down here. We go to our office, and in that office we do holy things. We have a class, we have pray mincha. Wherever we go, we can create a space, we can create godliness for Hashem. And that is really the ultimate manifestation of bringing down God to this world. While the physical space of Jerusalem, we can't technically copy, and the Holy Temple, which we don't have in this week's Torah portion, we discuss many of the different vessels. In each vessel we can learn many ideas from, but unfortunately the physical vessels that we have in the Beit HaMikdash are not yet here until the third Beit HaMikdash will be rebuilt very soon in our days with the coming of Mashiach. But until then, the way that we prepare ourselves is by creating our own home, our own Mikdash Ma'at, our own space, and creating a dwelling place, space for Hashem. And so as we go into the Shabbos Parshat Terumah, it's how we bring peace and serenity in this world. A world which needs peace, a world which we've seen terrible tragedies on a daily basis, unfortunately. There was a terrible attack today in Masmiya, a place which when I went to Yeshiva in Kiryat Gat, I used to be there every single week. And there was another attack this past week in some of the villages that we visited on our trip to Israel, in Kiryat Shmona, and in Sfas, another place I went to Yeshiva. And we're seeing every single day this war seems like it's getting worse and worse, even though we had a tremendous miracle of bringing out the hostages on Sunday, 2 hostages. We still have more than 100 hostages behind Gaza. And the requirements that Hamas is asking for this deal is just beyond anything that Israel can cope. And so we see as a world which is going through even crazier and crazier times. How do we do that? We do it in our own space. By bringing peace in our own space, we can bring peace to our larger space. From the micro to the macro, we're able to transform the space around us, the people around us, and ultimately that will bring greater peace and greater serenity as God wanted down here in this world, to create a dwelling place for Hashem. May it be very soon that we'll have peace and security in the land of Israel, and hopefully very soon we'll be able to return to the land of Israel with a time of peace and security, and rebuild the third temple, as we read about all the different vessels of the tabernacle, and the menorah, and the altar, and the Ark of the Covenant. Very soon in our days, with Bimheir V'Yameinu, we feel it's very soon that Mashiach is going to come. It seems every single day the light comes right before the darkest moment. And so as it's in our lifetime, in our generation, This may be some of the darkest moments that we're witnessing. God willing, the light will come very shortly. Shabbat Shalom.